The vast, domed hall of the Axaron Council Chamber shimmered with a bluish hue, the light reflecting off the crystalline walls. Representatives from countless species bustled about, their varied forms and languages creating a symphony of diplomatic discourse. In the center of this grand space, two delegations faced each other across a long, polished table. Solara, the lead diplomat of the Axaron delegation, stood tall and composed. Her blue skin, a hallmark of her species, glowed softly under the chamber's light. Her elegant dress, a masterpiece of Axaron design, clung to her figure with delicate precision, the fabric shimmering like liquid silver with every movement. The dress accentuated her beauty and poise, making her a striking presence in the room. Solara's silver eyes, sharp and intelligent, scanned the room with an air of authority. On the opposite side, James, the human diplomat, observed the room with keen interest. His tailored suit, a deep navy blue, contrasted with the more flowing and ornate garments of the Axarans. His dark hair was neatly combed, and his blue eyes sparkled with curiosity and determination. James had a reputation for his charm and adaptability, skills that had served him well in numerous interstellar negotiations. The meeting commenced with formal introductions and an exchange of customary greetings. Solara's voice was calm and melodic as she addressed the assembly. Honored representatives of the Galactic Federation, we are gathered here today to discuss the terms of the new trade agreement between Axara and Earth. Our goal is to strengthen our ties and ensure mutual prosperity for our people. James nodded, acknowledging her words. Thank you, Solara. The people of Earth are eager to build a lasting partnership with Axara. We believe that by working together, we can achieve great things. The discussions were intense and productive, with both sides presenting their proposals and counter-arguments. Solara and James, as lead diplomats, navigated the complexities of the negotiations with skill and precision. Hours passed as they worked through the details, seeking common ground and mutually beneficial solutions. As the meeting drew to a close, a tentative agreement was reached. Both delegations expressed their satisfaction with the progress made and the prospects for future cooperation. Solara and James exchanged respectful nods, silently acknowledging each other's efforts. After the formal proceedings, the atmosphere in the hall relaxed slightly. Delegates mingled, engaging in more casual conversations. Solara found herself standing by one of the large, arched windows, gazing out at the stunning landscape of Axara. The twin suns were setting, casting a golden glow over the crystalline city below. James approached her, his curiosity piqued by the enigmatic Axaron diplomat. Quite the view, isn't it? He remarked, his tone friendly and open. Solara turned to him, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. Indeed it is. Axara is known for its natural beauty. I trust you find our planet to your liking. It's breathtaking, James admitted, stepping closer to the window. I've visited many worlds, but Axara is truly unique. Solara nodded, appreciating his sincerity. I'm glad you think so. It's always interesting to hear perspectives from different cultures. Their conversation flowed naturally, moving from topics of diplomacy to more personal interests. Solara found herself intrigued by James's stories of Earth and its diverse cultures. In turn, she shared insights about Axaran traditions and their way of life. As they spoke, Solara couldn't help but notice the easy charm that James exuded. He was intelligent, articulate, and attentive, qualities that she found increasingly appealing. For his part, James was captivated by Solara's grace and poise. Her keen mind and the subtle intensity in her eyes drew him, making him want to know more about her. The evening light deepened, casting long shadows across the hall. As other delegates began to retire for the night, Solara and James remained by the window, lost in conversation. They discussed everything from the challenges of their respective roles to their personal hopes and dreams. Finally, James broached a topic that had been on his mind since the meeting. Solara, I'm curious about something. During our discussions, you mentioned the reproductive cycles of your people. It's quite different from what we experience on Earth. Solara's silver eyes sparkled with interest. Ah, yes. Axaran men have specific reproductive periods, unlike human men who can reproduce at any time. It's a significant aspect of our biology and culture. James nodded, intrigued. That must have a profound impact on your society. How do Axaran women handle this difference? A playful smile curved Solara's lips. Axaran women are much more passionate and sexual than our male counterparts. It's a well-known fact among our people. We value intimacy and connection, often more intensely than Axaran men. James felt a thrill at her words, his interest piqued further. That's fascinating. It must lead to some interesting dynamics in your relationships. It does, Solera agreed, her gaze locking with his. Our culture places a strong emphasis on emotional and physical bonds. It's a unique aspect of who we are. As their conversation grew more personal, James felt a growing connection with Solera. He could sense a mutual attraction, a spark that seemed to bridge the gap between their worlds. The air between them crackled with unspoken possibilities, hinting at a deeper connection waiting to be explored. The first light of dawn filtered through the curtains, casting a gentle glow over the room. James awoke to the soft warmth of Solera nestled against him, her blue skin luminous in the early morning light. He smiled, feeling a profound sense of contentment and connection. As he gently brushed a strand of hair from her face, Solera stirred, her silver eyes fluttering open. "Good morning," James whispered, his voice filled with tenderness. "Good morning," Solera replied, her lips curving into a soft smile. She snuggled closer to him, savoring the warmth of his embrace. For a few moments they lay in comfortable silence, simply enjoying each other's presence. But soon, the reality of their situation began to weigh on James. He knew he had to tell Solera about his departure. "Solera," James began, his tone serious. "There's something I need to tell you." Solera looked up at him, her expression curious but slightly apprehensive. "What is it, James?" He took a deep breath. "I have to leave tomorrow. My mission here is almost over, and I have to return to Earth." A shadow of sadness crossed Solera's face, and she sat up slightly, her eyes searching his. "Tomorrow? I hoped we would have more time together. These moments we've shared have been so beautiful. I wish they could last for days." James reached out, gently caressing her cheek. "I know, Solera, I feel the same way. But we still have today. Let's make the most of the time we have." Solera's eyes softened with emotion. She leaned in, her lips brushing against his in a tender kiss. "You're right. Let's not waste a single moment." Their kiss deepened, filled with urgency and passion. James pulled her closer, their bodies entwining as they surrendered to the intense connection they had formed. The room seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them, lost in each other. They moved together with a newfound intensity, their lovemaking even more passionate than the night before. Every touch, every kiss was a testament to the deep bond they had forged in such a short time. They explored each other's bodies with reverence and desire, making the most of every precious moment. As the morning sun climbed higher, they finally lay back, breathless and sated. Solera rested her head on James's chest, her fingers tracing gentle patterns on his skin. "Thank you, James," she whispered, "for giving me this beautiful memory." James kissed the top of her head, his heart full. "Thank you, Solera. You've given me something I'll never forget." The soft glow of the Axaron moonlight filtered through the curtains, casting a gentle luminescence over the room. James lay on the bed, Solera nestled against him, their bodies warm and content from their recent lovemaking. He gently brushed a strand of her hair from her face, his fingers trailing softly along her blue skin. Solera stirred, her silver eyes opening to meet his. She smiled, a mixture of satisfaction and tenderness on her lips. "That was incredible," she murmured. James returned her smile, his heart swelling with the connection they had shared. "It really was," he agreed, his voice filled with emotion. For a moment, they lay in comfortable silence, simply enjoying the closeness and warmth of each other's presence. But James knew he had to address the inevitable, and the thought weighed heavily on his mind. "Solera," he began gently, his tone serious. "There's something I need to tell you." Solera shifted slightly, her eyes searching his with curiosity and a hint of apprehension. "What is it, James?" He took a deep breath, knowing how difficult this would be. "I have to leave tomorrow. My mission here is almost over, and I have to return to Earth." A shadow of sadness crossed Solera's face, and she sat up slightly, her silver eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Tomorrow. I hoped we would have more time together. These moments we've shared have been so beautiful. I wish they could last for days." James reached out, gently caressing her cheek. "I know, Solera. I feel the same way. But we still have tonight. Let's make the most of the time we have." Solera's eyes softened with emotion, and she leaned in, her lips brushing against his in a tender kiss. "You're right. Let's not waste a single moment." Their kiss deepened, filled with urgency and passion. James pulled her closer, their bodies entwining as they surrendered to the intense connection they had formed. The room seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them, lost in each other. They moved together with a newfound intensity, their lovemaking even more passionate than before. Every touch, every kiss was a testament to the deep bond they had forged in such a short time. They explored each other's bodies with reverence and desire, making the most of every precious moment. As the night stretched on, they finally lay back, breathless and sated. Celera rested her head on James's chest, her fingers tracing gentle patterns on his skin. "Thank you, James," she whispered, "for giving me this beautiful memory." James kissed the top of her head, his heart full. "Thank you, Celera. You've given me something I'll never forget." They held each other close, savoring the warmth and comfort of their embrace. The night was still theirs, and they were determined to fill it with as much love and joy as possible. For now, all that mattered was the time they had together, and they were resolved to make every second count. The first light of dawn crept into the room, gently rousing James and Celera from their sleep. They woke up wrapped around each other, the warmth of their bodies a comforting reminder of the night they had shared. James opened his eyes to find Celera's silver gaze already on him, a soft smile playing on her lips. "Good morning," Celera whispered, her voice filled with warmth. "Good morning," James replied, leaning in to give her a tender kiss. Their lips met in a sweet, lingering embrace that spoke volumes of the connection they had forged. Celera sighed contentedly, her fingers tracing patterns on James's chest. "Last night was extraordinary, James." "It was," he agreed, his hand gently caressing her back. "I'm so glad we had this time together." They lay there for a few moments longer, savoring the intimacy of the morning. Eventually, Celera sat up, stretching gracefully. "We should get ready. We have another busy day ahead of us." James nodded, sitting up beside her. "You're right. But first, how about a shower?" Celera's eyes sparkled with playful mischief. "I think that's a wonderful idea." They made their way to the bathroom, where the shower was large and luxurious. The warm water cascaded over them as they stood together, washing away the remnants of the night. Their hands roamed each other's bodies with familiar ease, turning the simple act of showering into another intimate experience. After their shower, they dried off and dressed, exchanging smiles and soft touches as they prepared for the day. Celera donned another elegant dress, this one a deep sapphire blue that complemented her skin perfectly. But James opted for a crisp, tailored suit that accentuated his handsome features. Ready for the day, they left the hotel and made their way to the meeting building. The walk was filled with a comfortable silence, both of them reflecting on the night and the connection they had forged. As they entered the grand hall, they exchanged a final, knowing glance. "Let's make today just as successful as last night," James said, his voice filled with determination. Celera nodded, her eyes shining with confidence. "Agreed. Together we can achieve anything." With that, they joined their respective delegations, ready to face the day's challenges with renewed energy and a deeper understanding of each other. The bond they had formed the night before would guide them through the complexities of diplomacy, adding a personal layer to their professional interactions. As they took their seats, the meeting began, and both Celera and James felt a sense of anticipation and excitement. They were ready to navigate the intricacies of their roles, knowing that they had shared something truly special. The day was filled with intense negotiations, the grand hall buzzing with the energy of determined delegates. Celera and James led their respective teams with skill and precision, their minds sharp and focused. Hours passed as they navigated through complex discussions, finding common ground and crafting a mutually beneficial agreement. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the crystalline city of Axara, the agreement was finalized. The room erupted in applause and cheers, the sense of accomplishment palpable. Celera and James stood facing each other, their eyes locking with excitement and anticipation. The success of their negotiations was not just a professional triumph but a personal victory that promised more opportunities for them to see each other. As the delegates began to disperse, Celera and James found a moment of privacy. They stepped aside, the hum of conversation around them providing a subtle cover for their exchange. "Congratulations," Celera, James said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "We did it." "Yes, we did," Celera replied, her eyes shining with happiness. "I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this." James smiled, the connection between them as strong as ever. "I'm glad to hear that. I'll miss working with you." Celera's expression softened, and she leaned in close, her lips brushing his ear. "James, I would like to spend countless nights with you, just like the one we shared." A shiver of anticipation ran through James at her words. He sighed, a mix of longing and determination in his voice. "I won't keep you waiting too long, Solera, I promise." With one last, lingering look, they stepped back, rejoining their respective delegations. The human and Axaron representatives mingled, celebrating their achievement. James made his way through the crowd, exchanging farewells and well wishes. As he reached the spaceship that would take him back to Earth, he glanced back one last time. Solera stood at the entrance of the meeting building, her silver eyes watching him with a mixture of hope and longing. James boarded the spaceship, his thoughts consumed by the night he had shared with Solera. The memory of her touch, her voice, and the deep connection they had forged stayed with him, a constant presence in his mind. As the spaceship lifted off, carrying him away from Axara, James knew that this was not the end. The bond they had created would draw them back to each other, no matter the distance. He was determined to return, to continue what they had started. Solera watched the spaceship disappear into the sky, her heart filled with a mix of sadness and anticipation. She knew that their paths would cross again, and the promise of countless nights together kept her spirits high. For now they were separated by light years, but their connection transcended the physical distance. Both Solera and James held on to the hope and excitement of their future encounters, knowing that this was just the beginning of a profound and enduring relationship.